Well, folks, the elections are behind us and things didn't go our way here in New York State. So, what's next in our fight to defend the Second Amendment here in Albany? Hi, guys. Aaron Dorr here with the New York State Firearms Association. I think, like most New Yorkers, we all thought that if there was ever a chance to dethrone crazy Kathy Hochul, it had been at Lee Zeldin's hands in the November elections. Zeldin ran a strong campaign, but he just came up short. And we can discuss the reasons why, but frankly, it doesn't matter. What matters is that we have an emboldened, demented governor who believes that she has a mandate from the people to advance even more gun control in 2023. In fact, she announced just recently one of her first speeches next year will be about her agenda when it comes to gun control. This crazy woman will never stop attacking our gun rights. And so, while at the federal level, we accomplished great things here in New York State, flipping 3 congressional seats and taking Nancy Pelosi the heck out of power in Washington, D.C., flipping the House here in New York State, we have a real problem on our hands. We have at least 3 main gun control bills that we are bracing to see action on next year here in Albany. Number 1 will be mental health exams for gun owners. Now, this might sound so delusional, so unconstitutional that it's hard to fathom, but this is a very real bill. It's been filed this year by Senator Saunders. It has a sponsorship in the Assembly as well, and these people are very serious about this. This bill would require New Yorkers to submit to a mental health exam with a state-sponsored or a state-approved mental health professional where they get to dig into every detail of our lives and see if they believe that we should have a firearm or not. And I can just tell you right now, the kind of questions they're going to ask if you talk about your love for country, your love for freedom, how much you hate tyrants, how concerned you are that if we are disarmed as a population, abject tyranny will follow. I can assure you, you and I, none of us who talk like that will ever be approved to buy a firearm. You see, the crazy people are the radical left. But when they administer these exams, people like you and I, we're never going to pass. That is a very real, tangible threat that's coming next session. We have to be ready for that. That's fight number 1. Defensive fight number 2, however, is a 10-day waiting period on all firearms sales. There are various waiting periods in place right now, but the bill that just about passed in Albany this year would mandate 10-day waiting periods on all firearm sales all the time, forever, here in New York State. I mean, everyone knows that violent crime is absolutely out of control all across the state. And the idea that somebody who has their home broken into, they get terrified, they want to buy a firearm for home defense for the next time, that they have to wait 10 days, it's absurd, it's unconstitutional, and it's going to get innocent New Yorkers killed or raped or robbed. And Kathy Hochul knows that. She just doesn't care. So the second major threat we have to guard against next year will be a waiting period on all firearm sales for innocent. Again, it only applies to innocent New Yorkers. It doesn't stop criminals. It doesn't stop the bad guys. It only stops you. It only stops me. That's defensive fight number 2. The third one is equally as pernicious. This is a requirement that New Yorkers obtain civil liability insurance as a condition of applying for a pistol permit. Everyone knows here in New York that it is against the rules in New York to sell said insurance, even if it was constitutional, which is not. So this insurance, you can't get it, number 1. It's unconstitutional, number 2. And again, like everything else, it only applies to law-abiding New Yorkers. Criminals are not going to get insurance to buy a firearm. This entire agenda, from mental health to waiting periods to civil liability insurance, is designed to impact one group of people here in New York: innocent, law-abiding New Yorkers that Hochul wants to dement and harass and finally incarcerate if she gets her way. All these bills will make you and I into felons if we disobey them. Again, won't touch the criminal class. It just impacts people like you and people like me. This is the defensive agenda we have before us as we approach next year. And guys, we need your help to fight these fights. Hit the link, renew your membership, and get involved in our fight for 2023. But there's offensive battles as well, namely the federal lawsuits making their way through court, trying to undo the damage that Hochul's law did in 2022. There's been multiple lawsuits filed now, and we have various judges giving various denouncements of Hochul's agenda. Here's where things stand as of today. And again, when it comes to federal court challenges, it changes rapidly. So be careful taking legal advice. Do not take legal advice from our video, because right now it's current. It might not be tomorrow. Currently, here in New York, the blanket prohibition on carrying in commercial buildings has been stayed. That means it cannot be enforced by the authorities here in New York. Also, currently, the requirement to surrender your social media login information in your accounts to the government has also been stayed. They cannot demand that as a condition of your application for a pistol permit. Those things have been stayed. However, these are temporary orders, and we're still waiting for a final answer, a final order on this from the Second Court of Appeals. That might take some time. And when that happens, we're going to see a challenge to that by Tish James on behalf of New York State. We're going to be engaging at that point as well on behalf of our members. It's a back and forth process. But folks, we already have seen multiple different judges denounce Hochul's law as unconstitutional. We must continue this fight as gun owners in federal court to invalidate, overturn, and vacate the tyrannical BS that Hochul signed into law this year. So guys, for that reason as well, renew your membership, stay involved in this fight. Big year coming up. We have a choice as gun owners in New York. We can sit back, throw up our hands, say all hope is lost, it's over, check out, we're done, which is what Kathy wants us to do, or redouble our efforts, getting ready for a major fight in Albany next session and in federal court. We keep fighting, we keep gaining ground in court, especially right now, guys. Our kids, our grandkids are counting on us to maintain this fight. Hit the link, renew your membership, guys, and we'll keep you informed. Take care.